It's preparing to stream us. And as they say in cinemas, please put your phones on silence so you don't disturb anybody. Oh, all right. Looks like we're live. Awesome. We're live. Great.
Cool.
Great. Yay, we made it. Cool. So hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We had a few technical issues between me and Amy, but we made it. So tonight I've got Amy Cook, and she has joined my webinar series about showcase your business. Tell us about your business. So Amy Cook was brave enough to put her hand up. Well, sort of twisted her arm into this. To say, yep, she will share her life journey and experiences and tell us all about her business, and hopefully maybe it will help someone else that's thinking about becoming a life coach or a business coach, and to tap into that knowledge that we possess. So Amy Cook from Sorting You, please tell us about yourself. And
thanks, Vanessa. Yeah, those technical difficulties sort of took me by surprise there, but we're here, so that's great.
We made it.
You won't tell you about myself. That's such a big question. So I am a life coach and a business coach. I'm based here on the Kapiti Coast in New Zealand, but also work with people from all over the world. So sometimes I'm coaching at 4 a.m. or 11 p.m, but it kind of works around my kids that way. So it's quite beneficial. And I'm a life coach. I'm a certified life coach, but I do some business coaching around the mindset strategy to do with business and helping people step out of their comfort zones, because they go so closely together. I mean, life, you know, especially when you're self-employed, right? Like your business is part of your life and there's no getting away from that. And your life is influenced by your business, you know, in good ways and bad ways. So, you know, life coaching and business coaching just have tended to just merge together. So that's why I do both. But my background before that is that I have 2 childcare centres. So I had 1 childcare centre, which I'd started from scratch, looking after 55 children every day and employing 15 staff. So it was pretty intense. I do still have it. It was pretty intense, doing all the day-to-day operations with my young family as well. So yeah, there kind of just came a point in my life where I needed to step back. So we put in a management team there, and I just was kind of reflecting on what next. And to be honest, I was probably burnt out. You know, I would like, our house was in a state, you know, we needed to renovate, we needed to declutter. We were so disorganized, we weren't eating healthily. Like, we were in a mess, right? We had 3 children, aged, I think the oldest one was about 7. And you know, we were just looking after everybody else and not ourselves. So that was not ideal. So I took about, it was just under a year, about nearly a year, about 8 or 9 months, and sort of just had the management team running the daycare centre, and took some time for myself to kind of reflect on what I enjoyed. And one of the things that I had loved about opening a childcare centre and running it was like supporting the women that I work with. So the staff, but also the parents, you know, we get people just sticking their head in my office just to you know, talk things through. You know, I love just being their sounding board and sort of troubleshooting with them and kind of figuring out like, whoa, okay, yeah, that's a little bit of a conundrum. What are the options? Okay, how are you going to choose which one to take? And, you know, it was done with a lot of love and no responsibility at that level. And I was like, this is what I miss about not being there, is the connections and the supporting other people. So that's, and during that time I had also done some decluttering, like gone into people's homes and done some decluttering, and so that kind of the same vibe had come through with that. You know, it wasn't always just go in and, you know, sort out their wardrobe and get rid of the stuff that didn't fit them. It was, you know, sometimes they'd be like, oh no, but I need to keep those shoes because, you know, and they would have sometimes a really interesting reason for keeping things. So that coaching kind of stuff came through with that as well. That was just kind of my little bit of a side hustle just for fun while I was transitioning. I just needed to refill my own cup for a while, and, you know, decluttering was is something that I find that like is sort of just my natural zone of genius. So it's really relaxing and uplifting for me. And so that like kind of like all these paths have kind of like morphed and merged into life coaching. And so yeah, I really feel like it's where I'm meant to be. You know, I feel like every piece of coaching I do, I walk away thinking, oh, that felt too easy. Did that person get good value? Because it felt so easy for me, because it comes naturally.
Yeah.
And then they message me, they're like, that was amazing, thank you. It's like, okay, cool, it's good then. So yeah, it's I'm really grateful to have found like what comes to me naturally and to be able to make a business out of that.
So it's like, sounds like you possess this wisdom that just comes to you, that you're able to channel through you, and give it out to people when they need it.
Yeah, so I don't think I have any like, you know, spiritual wisdom. I don't think it's anything like that.
No, but I mean, there's an internal wisdom that sort of.
Yeah. So even as a child, my friends would laugh because like I never knew who like, you know, the cute actor was, or like what the trendy thing to wear or do or have like was. Me. Like I never kept up with what was popular. But there was just other stuff. You know, people would just ask like the most random question. I'd just be like, I just know the answer, and I don't even know how I knew it. You know, yeah. When I was a baby, I grew up in a household with 4 adults. And they're like really smart adults, like really, like quite, like really, like so much common sense, but also really big readers. Well, 2 of them really big readers and quite creative thinkers. So I don't know, maybe I just like morphed some of that when I grew up around a lot of adults.
Rubbed onto you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting one, because I often ask people, like, as part of when I say, you know, tell us about you, and then I say, what was the journey to get into the business? So you sort of answered that for me, that your journey was really, it wasn't just waking up in the morning and say, I'm just going to go and become a life coach and just give out advice to everyone. It's sort of it. And that's what I try to make my listeners understand, that just like buying a house, same with any other things in life, that it's step by step. You just got to take steps. You just, it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't just land on you. I mean, yeah, sometimes lands on people, something, but most of the time, 99% of the time, you have to work your way through things, and you have to feel it and understand and learn.
And like most things, I find you have to do most things before you believe you can do them. You know, it's quite hard to believe you can do something when you haven't done it yet, but then it's quite hard to do something when you don't believe you can do it. So it's, you know, I remember when I was at life coaching school, like at the intensive face-to-face, you know, week-long thing that we had to do after we'd done all the online training. It was a week of certification examinations. And you know, they said, how much coaching have you done? And I was like, oh, I haven't been getting clients and like doing trial stuff. Like I thought I was still just learning this. But then they went through that kind of stuff, like, you know, what I had been doing with the daycare centre teachers and, you know, like all the other ways in my life that I had already used the coaching skills that I had naturally, and then was enhancing them with the certification.
Yeah.
And so that gave me the belief that I could already do this because I had already done this. And now I was going to do it even better. So yeah, I do a lot of work on that with clients actually, as, you know, if they've got a big goal and they feel like this is not obtainable. I mean, you must have it with people buying houses as well. You know, there must be, some people must come to you and be like, my family thinks I should buy a house, but I don't think I can. Yeah, I actually did it with somebody buying a house. She was like, oh, we'll always rent because we don't earn very much money. And I was like, well, I knew what her job was. I was like, what's your partner's job? And she told me. I was like, I know people that have jobs that earn less, you know, I mean, I didn't know their salary, but, you know, the less on average than what those jobs would kind of be perceived to be earning, that own a house. So, you know, why do you have this idea? And when we talked about it, she was just like, okay, it is possible. So basically it was possible for someone else. So then that kind of just created that little bit of belief for her that, oh, maybe it is possible for me. But then when it got down to it, she was actually thinking about buying a house in the neighborhood where she was renting, and it was a really expensive neighborhood to buy houses in. But when we talked about it and talked it through, it wasn't actually where she wanted to live anyway. So if she bought a house, she wanted to buy it where her family lived, and where her family lived was a much more affordable neighborhood anyway. And so, yeah, she did. She lives there happily now. It's very exciting. But, that's kind of just almost like just up leveling the beliefs before the action gets taken.
Yeah.
Because, you want people to take the action and be where they really want to be, rather than take the little steps all the way. If they're taking the little steps all the way, that feels like a lot more work. If they know they want to be a life coach, they don't need to start another business and just coach their employees first. They can just be a life coach.
They can just go straight to that. Okay.
Yeah.
So listeners, don't just go out and buy a business and, and get tips and people on board to practice on.
And then one thing, a person who we both know said, she was like, I love that you do business coaching and you own businesses and have run businesses, because she said there's some business coaches that don't do that, like their business coaching business is their business. So I think as far as business coaching goes, it is kind of good to really know like those nitty gritty, managing employee, dealing with IRD, like all the changing COVID rules at the moment for operating businesses. I think having that experience is quite beneficial to my clients as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, likewise, when people come to me and they want to buy a house, I had a funny one. I've been helping this person for the past 3 years to buy a house. We finally got there. She finally bought a house. And then we were talking, and then she goes, oh, so do you rent or do you own? It was the first time she ever asked me this question, right, over the last 3 years. And I was like, well, I've got my own home. And in fact, I've got a portfolio of properties, and, we've built a couple of houses. I'm building another one right now. And she went, oh my God, you actually, you have all these things. Oh, wow, this is really cool. So to her, I think it was an eye-opener that I'm not just speaking because I've read the bank guides, and policies, and I know how to do a mortgage. I've actually been through this journey myself. And often, yes, I do get those questions when I get clients on board and they ask me, oh, have you built? Do you have a house? And when you can tap into those experiences yourself, you sound more genuine because because you're speaking from experience. You're not just making it up.
That's so true. Just the genuineness, and like you come across as the person who just wants to help people buy a house. It's like the paperwork and the mortgage is like by the side. You're just like, just want to help people buy houses. I'm like,
I don't want to help everybody.
Help people love their life.
Yeah, I'm on this big mission right now. Sorry, we're deviating from you and your business, but you can tell, like, every time we talk about this, I get so passionate about it, just like you and your life coaching. It fills your cup, right? And I mean, same for me. I think I know I found what fills my cup and what makes me energized. Because every time I come away from a meeting with people, with my clients, or them, going unconditional, them buying a house, winning an auction, I get this awesome energy coming through, and I just love it. I love helping people. So whether it's a first home buyer, whether it's a developer, whether it's mom and dad investors, just anybody. And I think that's what's important, and that's why I decided to do this webinars with different people like you that have their own businesses set up, that also gives them fire in their core and gives them that passion. And for people to realize that are maybe stuck in the mundane everyday work, is there's actually something else out there that could be doing. And yes, it's hard, but it could be so much more fun once they start, I guess. Yes.
Once they start doing it, it's like the boring stuff of like, incorporating a company and taking out your public indemnity insurance. And that's not fun, but it gets to be fun.
It gets to be fun. That's right. Yeah. So tell us about what was the biggest mistake you made that people can learn from? If you made any mistakes, I don't know. Have you made any mistakes?
Of course, I have made mistakes. The biggest mistake the biggest positive mistake is that when I opened my first childcare centre, so we leased the space and converted it. My husband's a builder, so we converted it ourselves. We didn't employ enough staff because we didn't expect to have the role that we had as quickly as we had. So sounds like a positive mistake, but what that meant was that I ended up being a teacher, because there's adult child, for the listeners that don't know about this stuff. I know you do because you've got preschool children, but
Sure.
you know, there's adult child ratios that you need to maintain. For every child that's there, it's measured in 15-minute blocks. So, you know, it's like you can't just have extra staff on for the busy part of the day and then not many when it's quiet. You know, it has to be very specific. And so I ended up what we call on ratio for like the first few months until we managed to find some extra staff. And so our admin systems never got set up really well in the beginning. So after that, we were kind of working with like a patchwork and band-aids of, you know, like we just, you know, it got to that point where we're just like doing the bare minimum to do all the reporting that we have to do to all the 14 different government bodies that we have to, you know, do different things under and all sorts. And so we were just kind of like band-aiding things over, and we never, you know, it was years until I was just like, actually, we need to stop. We need to look at all of our admin systems. You know, we're so focused on the children, and I was so tied up with the children and the service delivery that working on the business didn't happen for far too long. And I think that was part of the reason why I ended up just being so exhausted and working so hard, you know, a few years later. So, yeah, so lovely that we were so much more successful in the early days with the number of enrollments, but that was kind of the price that we paid for it, was me and, you know, even the person that I had employed to help me with paperwork, because there's a lot of paperwork in childcare centres. And we both ended up working with the kids most of the time. So
it's funny, it seems like it's a common theme that's coming through now that I'm doing a few of these webinars, and I'm hearing a lot of that the mistakes that are people making in the beginning is not hiring the right staff from the beginning, or not investing into the right systems and stuff like that early enough. But I guess it's like me, you know, I was afraid when I first started, and you're on your own. And for me, it's a bit different. Like, I didn't have a roll of kids that would pay my bills. I rely on clients. If the client buys a house, I get a commission. And it's really hard to predict sometimes how many clients you will have day to day, week to week, month to month. So in order to hire someone, it's a huge investment out of your own pocket. And now I'm finally investing, because it just got absolutely crazy in New Zealand with the whole housing market. But I've got a couple of assistants in the background that, you know, helping me with all the paperwork, because there's just so much paperwork as well in the mortgage industry. But yeah, sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I've done it sooner, or the right technology as well. You know, like, oh, I wish I've done that sooner.
It's you know, it's almost like, looking back now, you know, back then I wouldn't have even known the terminology, but now I'm like, it's almost like a scarcity mindset thing. It's like, oh, but I don't want to employ too many teachers, because then I'll have too many wages to pay, and we won't have enough children to do that. But of course we were going to have children. Like, we were opening like the shiny new daycare centre in a community that was short on daycare centres. Like, of course we were going to. But your scarcity mindset and your like protection of yourself just comes across so strong.
Yeah, so it's amazing. The moment you change your mindset to this abundance, right, mindset, that everything is possible, you'll have it all, it's just amazing transformation.
Which is that believing in yourself again, you know, like, it's, you know, what I said before, it's like you do it, you get one kid, it's like, oh, actually kids are going to come here, you know, it's like, you know, and then you go, okay, all of a sudden we've got 10 kids, you know, it's,
and all these mums like me that just keeps breeding, you know, and they just keep
or people like me that just keep buying houses in your
So you know, I'm sure the childcare centre, it's absolute spot on business to have, I think. Apart from all the paperwork and health and safety and everything else, I did think about that as a business for myself, and I thought, nah, it's too much. So much. You're amazing for doing that. Plus now you've got your life coaching business. So if we talk about life coaching, what is unique to you in this business? because I've interviewed a few life coaches now. I think last week we had another beautiful life coach as well. But I mean, hers one, Karen Mack, she works with midlife women.
Mhm.
So I thought that was kind of cool. What's unique to you and in your business? Who is your ideal client?
My ideal clients. It's funny because I was talking to somebody this morning. I was like, every time I say I work mostly with women, I get 3 calls from men in the next few days. They're like, do you work with men? Your website looks like you only work with women. Because I don't say anywhere I work with women. Yeah, but I do. I tend to I think it's just my feminine energy just attracts women mostly. And when I do work with men, they tend to be men that are needing encouragement and support, not like just they need to feel secure. They need to feel like they're more delicate, I suppose. It's maybe not the right word.
I didn't want to say motherly love, but I don't know. Maybe that's
but it's interesting. They're all kind of just cut from a similar cloth. So yeah. But mostly I work with women. Mostly they're at a point in their life where they're making a decision or a change. So some are moving from parenting to work, or from being employed to a business, or from parenting to a business. So quite often they're sort of at that point. So quite often they are sort of in their maybe 30s or 40s. Don't have to be though. But yeah, often there's a change going on.
But I feel like every decade, brings its own changes, right? I mean, when you're in your 19s and 20s and you're a student and you're having the time of your life, and then you tend to have a family, and I mean, I'm just thinking about myself, and then after 30s, I was like, oh, what's next? 3 decades pretty much almost gone, and what am I doing with my life? So I think every decade brings something else. And then the kids grow up and they leave the house, and then you're again like, oh, what am I doing now with my life? So it's amazing.
So I always feel like I should have like a nice 2-sentence answer to that question, but I don't have one.
Just keep working on that one.
But women that, so I mean, I'm 42, and I'd say that most of my clients are 10 or 15 years either side of me. Most of them have have children, not parents. Most of them have children, whether they're young or teenagers, but most of them have children, not all. So, but as a general rule of thumb, sort of busy women that are looking to make a change.
And in the beginning, I think you mentioned that you can work with anyone across the world, really. I mean, I'm pretty much stuck to New Zealand, but you can have people across the world.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. You can't have clients outside New Zealand, but because of living.
Well, I sort of have. I mean, I had a few investors from Singapore and Europe, buying houses in New Zealand, but they all have to be like New Zealanders, and also with all sorts of crazy that we have now in New Zealand, that Overseas Buyers Act that bans foreign people, even if you lived outside of New Zealand. Like, I don't want to lie, need to look into it, but if you were out for a certain period of time, you could actually be classified as a foreign buyer, and then you can't really buy property in New Zealand. So it's a bit messed up. But no, I do have clients every now and then from overseas, but I mean, to you just have anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And then for the childcare centres, obviously we can't. And so I think it's because you do so much of your work on Zoom and on the internet. That's why I just like thought you would have clients everywhere that are buying houses in New Zealand.
No, it's actually really cool. I mean, I've got people from around New Zealand, Invercargill, Northland, anywhere in between. But I did have a phone call last week from a lady in Australia, and she was doing a bit of research for her brother-in-law who is in Otaki. So I thought that was kind of cool. And we had an awesome chat about the rates in New Zealand versus rates in Australia, how there's housing. She's like, you guys need builders, I'll ship you some builders. We've got plenty of them here in Australia. Our building supplies are much cheaper, so we had a really cool conversation with her. But I mean, I can talk to anyone around the world, but it's only who can actually buy.
True. That's why sometimes I'm up at very odd hours in the morning. So sometimes people message me, they're like, I tried to book on your online thing, but all those times are for the middle of the night for me. I'm like, well, give me a time. It's okay. We'll do it in the middle of the night for me instead.
That's awesome. So I also ask people, what gets you up in the morning? What excites you and gets you up in the morning?
Wow. What gets me up really is my 5-year-old.
I was about to say, apart from the cats and the children and the dog.
The kids and the cat.
Yeah.
But what excites me in the morning is the relative freedom and the relative unknown of what my days hold. So, I sort of, we've got managers at the daycare centres, but I'm still troubleshooting for them. And then I've got my clients, sometimes at strange times of the day. So quite often I have like a nice sort of 4 or 5 hours in the middle of the day where I'm like, I wonder what's going to fill this space. And sometimes it's, somebody might be trying to get a coaching session in next week. And, if my calendar's not looking great for them, then, sometimes it's an impromptu, well, I could see you in an hour instead kind of thing. So sometimes it's that, sometimes it's, coffee with friends. Sometimes I just get inspired. I am working on a book. I haven't told many people that. Now I'm just telling all your people that.
Ooh,
I'm working on a book.
I love
so
it.
yeah, sometimes I get like a bit of writing time. So yeah, it's kind of like the curiosity about what will the day hold. So as well as the kids and the cat and my amazing husband. But the curiosity about what each day is going to unfold as.
I love that. I love that phrase, the way you said it, the curiosity of what each day will unfold. It's really cool, and putting it into that positive light as well, versus, I don't know what's going to bring me today. No, I don't wake up like that. I wake up just like you, like, I wonder what's going to happen today. Like your day sort of planned out a little bit, but then the rest will just be thrown into. Yeah.
I mean, like it shows how lucky we are, right? That we can wake up and be like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen today. And not, I wonder what's going to happen today. It's, yes, it's a mindset thing. And it's also, a privilege thing as well, isn't it?
But I think we worked hard for it,
yes.
to make it happen. As I said in the beginning, things just don't land on your head that here's the life. I think you just have to create. You have to be the creator of your life. You just have to create it the way you want it. So yeah, I've got a question here from someone. They're asking if what sort of packages do you have and how does it work? Like, is it one-on-one, just one-time coaching, or do you have sessions? Like, how does it even work?
I do only do one-to-one coaching at the moment, kind of just brewing some kind of group stuff for people that have similar goals, that they can work together in a more A, cost-effective way, but B, collaborative way, so that they can be sharing ideas. And that when you're in the room and the person asks the question that you want to know the answer to, but you didn't even know that you wanted to know the answer to until they asked the question. So yeah, kind of working on some group stuff around that.
Okay.
Probably I won't have out this side of Christmas, but maybe early next year. So at the moment I do just do one-to-one sessions. So on my website people can just book a introductory session, which is $80 and it's 60 minutes long, and we do coaching in that session. It's not a sales call, it's not a it's not a sales pitch, but it's a full hour, sometimes even 10 minutes longer, because as well as doing coaching, we also talk about what coaching together moving forward might look like. And so I always encourage people just to start with one session, because, especially if they're overseas, they might just hear my Kiwi accent and be like, oh, that's so distracting, or
I don't understand you.
Anything like that, and so I don't I made the decision in the early days not to do any like hard sales and hard commitments, but I also didn't want to be giving away coaching for free. People do discovery calls where they do it for free, and some coaches were doing 10 or 15 discovery calls a week for free. I was like, I don't want to do that. I was like, I'm just going to let people just book one discounted session to try it out, basically. So we do one intro session for $80, and then if people decide to move forward, the next step that I always suggest is 3 sessions, which is $440. So 3 sessions over the course of a month. So they could be a week apart or they could be 2 weeks apart, but 3 sessions in a month, and then they can use like Messenger and email and stuff and get support from me in between those sessions as well. And then from that point, we talk about it and do something tailor-made for them. So some people go on to just a quick 20-minute catch-up every week, but some people would rather have like a good solid 90 minutes every second or third week. And so, yeah, we just tailor make it from there, depending on what their goals are. And sometimes people pause it and then they, contact me again and say, okay, I've done off those 10 things that we talked about and I've kind of acclimatized at that stage in my life. And now I'm ready to move forward again. So yeah, sometimes people pause and then pick up again. And that's, like I've just gone for a really low pressure, well, actually no pressure, low commitment kind of model, so that people, feel free to just dip in and dip out.
Yeah.
And also I love it when people don't feel like they need me anymore. Like I love it when people are just like, okay, cool, I'm flying. It's like, yay. And then they're like, okay, but now I want to fly higher. So then they come back. So,
So very similar to what I do, right? I mean, when people buy the house, before leading to that journey, before they buy the house, I get them all, we work through everything, we finances, insurances, everything. And then they buy the house and they're like, all right, bye. Congratulations, but bye. And then I don't see them or hear from them. Obviously, I touch base, but they come back naturally to me usually. And now I'm seeing my second wave of clients, like from last year, that now trying to buy the second home, or they're trying to get a top up to do renovation or whatever. So that's really exciting. Just like the moment you said it, sorry, I just switched something in my brain that actually
up-leveling their life. We're literally in the same business, right? Helping people up-level their lives.
Yeah. Maybe I should call myself not a mortgage advisor, but a home loan coach or something. something coach. I want to be a coach. I don't know. I'm jealous. I get to be a coach. I want to be a coach.
Property coach.
A property coach. Yeah. One day. And if there was one piece of advice that you can leave us with tonight, some words of wisdom, Amy, what would it be?
Ooh, okay.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, I'm just like, so many things.
So many words. Well, you can share more than one.
Okay. Getting what you want is easy. Knowing what you want is the hard part.
Getting what you want
is easy. Knowing what you want, that's the hard part.
The hard part.
Once you know what you want, it's, am I allowed to say shit like, easier to get it than if you don't know what you want.
True. That's so true. Wow. That's awesome. That's deep. I like that. Amy. That's awesome. Look, also, oh my God, it was so good to have you tonight. You're just like a ball of fuzzy energy. I love hanging out with you. And every time I see you, almost every fortnight, when you can make it and I can make it, but when we see each other at Venus, you just bring so much light and energy. I love hanging around you.
Thank you.
And tonight has been awesome, finding out about your journey, and how it led you to where you are, and how you're balancing all of this. I mean, I have no idea how you're managing, but I guess people ask me all the time as well, how do you manage all of this? It's just like when you do what you love.
Yeah, when it comes naturally to you, so it's not depleting your energy, it's easy to do a lot of it. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. When you don't do what you love, I think that's when you go, oh, I don't want to do it.
Yeah. When it's wearing you down, that's when you can't fit as much in, right?
That's right. Yeah. Awesome, Amy. Thank you so much. Lovely to have you. And where do people find you? I forgot to ask you.
Oh, my website is just sortingyou.com. Sortingyou.com. Super easy. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, hopefully everyone gets sorted.
Brilliant.
Thank you. And
thanks for having me.
Thank you. Have a fantastic night, Amy.
You too. Bye.
Bye.